Movement is a huge part in just about any FPS game. Being able to dodge bullets instead of just standing still and getting shot is pretty useful. Some games rely on fast-paced speed, while other more grounded shooters rely on basic movements like strafing and crouching. Even though every game universally has strafing, not every game animates it the same way. In games like Counter-Strike, the player does a sort of sidestep by placing one foot in front of the other. In games like Apex, the character actually rotates their entire lower body in the direction that they want to move. Not only that, but if the player's last movement is backwards, they'll actually strafe backwards as well. This is also used in some older games like Rainbow Six Vegas 2. After doing some research, I found that this is actually called orientation warping, which is commonly used in games made in Unreal. Which is kind of surprising since Apex uses a modified version of the source engine. Now these are minor details that most players themselves would probably never notice, but as an FPS game developer myself, I feel like it's my duty to pay attention to these things, because how else am I going to know how to properly add things to my game? Since I'm using Unity and my game isn't really meant to look that realistic, just having a basic sidestep along with a forward and backwards walking animation works just fine. Now crouching is another big mechanic in FPS games, which I finally decided to add to my own game. For the longest time, I avoided adding crouching to my game, because for some reason I believed I would have to animate every single frame as my player went down into a crouched animation. But that is not the case. All I really had to do was create a static crouching animation like this, and Unity's animation transitions does all the in-between work of moving my character from standing to crouched. Then I just had to copy and paste my movement animations onto a crouched character, and I had crouched animations just like that. Now in Unity, the best way to combine walking animations together is by using a blend tree. You can set it up so that depending on the axis of the movement keys that you press, you'll play that animation. I actually have it so that I have two blend trees, one for crouching and one for standing up, with a transition in between them. And both of them basically work in the exact same way. Although my game is multiplayer, I haven't really shown any multiplayer footage yet. So here's how all the movement and animations look from another player's perspective. And here's how it looks when a player dies, which I still have to work on because he kind of just flies forward. I also rotated my gun a little bit when I'm sprinting and reloading, so it just feels a little bit different. But that's just about all I have for this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, give your opinions in the comments below, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more.